All right, here we go. On today's episode, along guest host Bianca Léger, we interview a father, an entrepreneur, a fitness business coach, host of the Sweat It Out podcast, and Puma athletes. Welcome to the winner circle, Anthony Mendez.
What's up, guys? I appreciate you guys having me on here today. Hope all is well.
Things are great over here in Winnipeg, and how are things over in Ontario for you, Bianca?
Oh, things are amazing here. It's sunny. We're excited. I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
And Anthony, you're in Florida, Miami, I believe, today.
That's right, Miami, guys, all the way over here. It's summer all year long, so I can't complain.
And we're going to start off with another positive question, and that is, Anthony Mendez, what do you love about your world right now?
What do I love about my world right now? I would say I love the fact that I'm being able to do the things that I'm doing, which gives me the time and freedom to spend time with my little one and watch her grow. For me, that's, I think, crucial and important, especially at the age that she is, which she'll be 3 in January. So, I've always wanted to be able to enjoy those moments because I always hear that those are the moments that you can never really truly get back. So for me, I'm really currently enjoying that right now, is being able to have an infrastructure that allows me to be able to spend time with my little girl and still continue to have success with the things that I'm doing.
And I'm super curious to hear what that infrastructure looks like. And the way we're going to get into that question is we're going to examine your mission, the mission that overrides all that you do, whether that be your business life, your personal life, being a father. What is your mission here in this reality plane right here, right now, Anthony?
So here right now, besides being a father and besides some of those other things, my mission is, initially, and I'll bring it a little bit back, coming from a pain point in my life of, when I was a trainer, and not being able to, fulfill and have the things that I wanted as a trainer, kind of led me to the mission that I'm leading now, which is helping coaches scale their online businesses so they can create more of the freedom, the time, money freedom that they want and deserve. So that way they can focus on pouring back even more into their clients, whether it's online, hybrid. But that's my mission now, is to be able to equip these coaches with the right tools, the right systems, the right operations, the right exposure, and show them how to optimize themselves completely online and on social media so they can start winning and owning their life.
So where are some commonalities you see amongst coaches where they're needing this extra help, and how are you helping them?
Yeah, totally. So I think it's what you're seeing right now. And I think obviously with COVID and all that stuff, it created a massive awareness of letting coaches know I need to get online. So I think that we could all agree that a lot of coaches who weren't online have tapped into the online somewhat somehow. So I think that now coaches understand, because it's already practically been 2 years with COVID. So I think coaches understand they gotta be online. But here's the new problem. The new problem is that a lot of coaches are now tapped online. They're having the issues of, okay, how do I sustain this and how do I duplicate and scale this? And the other thing is, as well as that, is how do I truly make this work for me now? Because now a lot of coaches back in the rut of, okay, I'm doing this online thing, but I'm realizing I'm not understanding how to be able to completely step away from the fact of the day-to-day stuff and be able to just focus on the coaching and be able to actually enjoy the time freedom. That's the initial goal that I have, and be able to pour into my clients constantly, right? At the end of the day, if you meet most coaches, you talk to them long-term, they don't want to spend their whole life just doing back-to-back sessions, day-to-day, trading time for money or trading energy for time. A lot of them really want to be able to have a balanced lifestyle, and I say balance, really there's no such thing as balance, but I mean balance within ourselves, in the sense of understanding, okay, I'm making what I want to make, but I'm also having the time to do the things I want to do, and I feel good here, and that takes a certain level of systems and understanding and operations to be able to do that. So I think the next big barrier is, and this is where something I just launched recently to solve that barrier, is my FitPro agency, and that's to be able to give coaches the right team, so that way they can start building teams and they can start stepping away from a lot of the day-to-day things that they were doing before, to get leads, to be able to close, to be able to get in front of people and then coach them. Yes, that's great. You need to learn that, and I teach that, and that's all the foundational stuff. But now when you're going into the part of coaches are online now, and they've already understand the foundations of online, What's the next step? Because I want to start creating more freedom. And that's understanding how to have a team in place. And I think when you understand that any business that flourishes and any person who wants to take a step back from their business, you need to have a team in place. And if you don't have a team in place, you're not going to win at the highest level.
Mhm.
So it's great that we have Bianca with us here today, because she is a former school teacher, and elementary school teacher, and she left that world behind, traveled the world, and now that she returned back to Canada, she's getting started with her own business. And while she's not a fitness coach, she'll be doing Reiki and other types of healing with clients. So how would you advise a new coach just getting started in the industry?
Yeah, so if you're brand new to the coaching industry and you want to be online, I would say definitely you want to learn the foundational stuff, right? You want to learn how to be able to optimize your platform. You want to be able to learn how to be able to put impactful content. You want to be able to learn how to be able to lead gen on your own. You want to be able to learn how to properly message, how to properly sell, all these things that might make coaches feel uncomfortable, which if you talk to most coaches, a lot of coaches will tell you, oh, I don't want to sell. I don't like selling. But here's the matter of fact is that it's your business. At the end of the day, it's your business. And in any business, you have to lead gen, you have to sell, right? You have to create content of some sort. You have to be able to put yourself out there. I get it. Coaching is what we're great at. But in order to coach somebody, the first step of coaching is being able to create interaction. And if you can't create interaction, then there is no coaching. It's the same thing when you meet somebody in person. If you're on the floor trying to prospect and get somebody off the floor, that's the first part of coaching, is how to be able to get that person in front of you, open that communication and break those walls down. So how do we do that online, right? So you need to realize figure out the organic way of doing this yourself first, and be able to understand lead generation, understand messaging, understand connecting, understand building relationships, nurturing them, sales, right? And then serving the person on the organic foundational way is going to be important. So that way you can then take that, and when you start building your team, you already know how to also properly teach your team, guide your team, and show your team what you did, right? Because if you don't know how to do it, how do you expect your team to do it? So you have to learn doing those different steps first in order to be able to then scale your teams. And obviously, from my FitPro side of things, that's where we come in, and we also teach you how to properly scale your teams, things to look out for, what to include. If you're looking for team members where we can provide you guys, that's something we do, is now we can provide appointment setters. Eventually, we're going to provide sales reps. Eventually, we're going to provide all these things. We can also provide virtual assistances. So for those people who are looking for those things, we have that service. We provide that now, which was that gap that we saw where we're like, you know what? A lot of coaches are now, they've worked with a business coach. They understand the basic foundations online. What's the next hole? And the next hole is they need people to put in place. And that's where they're having a hard time finding other coaches, appointment setters, sales reps, virtual assistants to help them now form that team that they want. But I would say for somebody brand new, you have to learn the foundations. You have to learn the foundations. Same thing as in fitness. If you don't go through the foundations, how do you expect to do higher level exercises, right? You can't. You know, you'll get hurt. It's the same thing with that. How you can't expect to go from here and jump straight into phase 2 or 3 without going through the foundation.
Yeah, I really like that you use the word organic, because it feels like when you're building relationship, that's what makes them last, is the fact that people can feel that a connection to somebody is authentic, and you're not just using them, which is why probably a lot of people feel really uncomfortable when they start, because if you're reaching out to somebody and they can feel and they can sense that you want something out of them, automatically all people are uncomfortable in this situation, and it feels very inauthentic. I wonder if you can recall any mistakes that you experienced in your learning process, like things not to do.
Oh, sure. I'll tell you right now, I've gone through many mistakes. I can tell you a whole bunch, more mistakes than successes. And I think that's what we all learn from, right? That's how we all thrive and grow, is from our mistakes. But I'll tell you, the number one thing goes back to, you know, as anybody you've obviously have a business, right? And we all know that you have to lead gen and make sales. But again, it goes back to how can we make this as organic and conversational as possible, to make it as an easy transition to just talk to somebody, right? I think we all feel like, oh my God, we have to chase a dollar sign. So we start being super pushy and our wording changes, and then it sounds very robotic, and it sounds like, well, this person just wants to sell me something, right? So I used to do that, you know, way back. I used to do that. I used to write, hey, are you interested in my boom, 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 boom? If you buy this now or click here, right? All these things. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't even know who, you don't even know who I am yet. Wait, hold up, chill, you know? So I would say one of the biggest things is don't send generic messages that already entail what you do, what you're providing, your price point. Worst thing you can do is even mention your price point, or even talk about, hey, like, you know, I want, you know, I think you need this, right? How can you tell somebody you think you need this if you don't even know the person? You know what they need.
Major turn off.
Don't assume, you know, and that's the other stuff too. And I tell people all the time, this is another big one, especially when it comes to sales, when you're even in a sales call. And I'll give you an example, and then I'll keep it broad. But let's say, for example, like, let's say that I'm working with a coach, and there's a coach who's been working for, let's say, a gym for 15 years. And, you know, he's talking to me, he sounds like pretty energized and excited about it. The worst thing you can do on a call is be like, well, don't worry, Jim, we're going to get you out of that. We're going to get you out of the gym, and we're going to make you some more money online because, you know, we got to just start getting you over and switch. What if Jim never wanted to leave the gym? What if Jim was just looking for another way to make money, but he loves the gym he's at so much, right? You haven't even figured out, you're assuming that Jim wants to leave his job. What if he doesn't? What if he just wants to add a source of revenue? You just shot yourself in the foot. The first thing I would tell Jim, I'll be like, damn, Jim. I was like, dude, you sound super excited talking about that gym you've been in for 15 years. You must love that gym. What do you love about them? But you see the difference? Like, I want to know, dude, right? Because my goal is, I want to figure out what do you need from us? Like, I want to be able to help you, right? So it's understanding when you talk to people, don't assume. We assume too much, right? We assume too much going into something that, oh, we feel this is what the person needs, when in reality, that's probably not what they need or what they want. They might want something completely different you didn't even know. So, you know, the best way, you know, to be able to approach things like this is you got to find something that you feel you can connect with the person on social media. It can be anything random. Like, you know, you come across him like, man, you know what? I really like, or maybe let's say a sports team, like, yo, I connected with this one guy the other day. We're talking about the Dolphins, how they lost. And I was like, yo, I saw you're a Dolphin fan. Yo, I'm a huge Dolphin fan too. Yo, talk to me about that loss the other day. Bro, then we started a whole tangent about the Dolphins and boom, 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 boom. Next you know it, we're talking about other things. And now it's tying into like, yo, this is what I do. And this is what we do. And then the guy started opening up to me, right? But I found something to connect with, right? Which was, we both like the Miami Dolphins, right? So I'll say, you know, that's one of the biggest mistakes, was definitely doing that, you know, shooting people over exactly what I did, how I can help you, not even knowing, right? Sending them those DMs and then just going straight for that. I would shoot myself in the foot all the time doing that. And I think another big mistake that I used to do all the time was, every time I would get into a sales call, I would just want to rush through it and just think, close a person, close a person, close a person. Where in reality, it's like, when you go into sales, and this is why a lot of people, especially coaches, have a bad taste when it comes to like, oh, but I'm not a salesperson, or I'm not a this. Look, in the end of the day, every single person in the world is a salesperson. Everybody, right? So even children are the best salespeople. They'll get whatever they want from their parents. They'll sell those parents to buy them whatever they want. You're a salesperson, right? You recommending something to your friend, you're selling your friend something. You giving your resume, looking for a job, you're selling yourself. So everything is sales, right? So people need to have a better relationship with sales and understand sales is not a bad thing. Sales is actually the life maker of economy, right? Without sales, there's nothing. You need sales. It's just how you approach your sales, right? So I tell coaches all the time, you have to approach sales with the mindset of, I'm coaching people through a sales call. I'm coaching people, right? I'm not forcing sales, I'm coaching somebody, right? And that's the big thing. I used to try to sell people and not coach people. I used to come in there and just think already like, okay, interview style questions. Let me just get through this and let me just pitch them because I need to make the sale and I got to hit my number for my quota. No, right? I used to do that all the time until I realized like, whoa. This is less productive. I'm not getting to where I want to be. And I'm not even actually figuring out what this person really wants. And I'm not actually building a connection, a relationship with them. And one of the biggest things in sales is building trust. If you have no trust with the person you're building, that person is not going to buy from you. I don't care how great your product is, right? So the biggest thing in sales is building that trust and then coaching somebody through a call. If you could coach somebody through a call and help them with the other obstacles they have along the way and help them get over those obstacles, then you can serve them with the big obstacle they're facing, which is the one you have the true solution for, right? So in any sales call, you have to be a coach first. You're always a coach from the moment you get on that call. People think, oh, I'm a coach when we start working together. No. You're a coach from the beginning of that call. The way you show up is the way that whole call is going to translate. You're a coach from the beginning. So I'll say, number one, understand that, have a good relationship with sales, understand sales is not a bad thing. And then understand that sales is not putting a dollar sign in front of the person. You actually dive in deep and be able to coach somebody through a call and actually dive in deep and figure out what is it that they really need? What do they want? Right. And even be honest with yourself, even ask yourself, do I really have what they need? Right. Because I'll tell you right now, one of the biggest things in sales is to be honest with you. And I'll tell them, hey, look, unfortunately, I don't think I have what you need, but I'm going to connect you with somebody who I think has exactly what you need. Right. Yeah. So you have to be honest with yourself and you have to be honest with people when it comes to that. And I'll tell you one of those biggest things was I used to try to be able to just say, no, I'll figure it out in my own head. I'll be like, no, I'm just going to try to sell them. Even if I don't exactly have that, I'm going to just create it later on and I'll just figure it out, but I need to make the money. I used to do that too. That's one of the worst things you can do. Don't feel bad or don't feel ashamed if you don't have something that they're looking for. Recommend them to somebody that does. And if anything, that looks better for you because later on that same person is going to be like, you know what? This person did me a huge favor. They're connecting me to somebody great. You know what? I have a friend who actually needs what that other guy had, and I'm going to connect them with that other person. And I love the way that they treated me. So you have to you have to just build a lot of trust, be honest with yourself and with what the person needs, and just give them what they need best at that moment. And then also to meet people where they're at, like literally meet people where they're at. You know, I think that's one of the most powerful things too in sales is meet people where they're at.
Yeah,
So,
especially for somebody for somebody coming to you, it would be so scary to receive information that seems so far out of reach. Like I can relate with this as a teacher, because if you're like giving a lesson that's way more advanced, it's super intimidating and you lose the student right away. A question that comes to mind real quick before we move on to the next one. How would you say it has evolved, the amount of people that come to you versus you having to reach out for them? Has that changed from the beginning to where you are now? What is the outreach when we're talking energy exchange? People coming as opposed to you reaching out to people?
Yeah, totally. So I'll tell you when it comes to, and I'll tell you honestly, and this is coming from me and from other huge coaches I've worked with, you know, of course, based on what I've grown and the traction I've been able to build over time, of course, I get more people reaching out to me. But I'll tell you right now that just because people reach out doesn't mean that people are ready to buy from you or people are going to buy from you. And especially when you're dealing with high ticket models or high ticket programs, high ticket coaching, people are not just going to buy. It doesn't matter how big your name is. It doesn't matter how, you know, big your credibility is. Yes, it helps 100%. It helps with knocking off certain objection barriers in that person's head. But the most important thing is the relationship building. I'll tell you right now, still in my organization, we have to go out there and connect with people more than people reaching out to us and just falling in our laps. In life, guys, nothing falls on your lap. Plain and simple. Nothing falls on your lap in life. Doesn't matter how big you are. Doesn't matter. Nothing's going to just fall on your lap. And don't expect that, all these massive amounts of people are just coming in and buying stuff through these big coaches and influencers accounts. It doesn't work that way, right? Am I saying that you're not going to get some people? Yeah, you will, versus maybe what you had before when you started, 100%. But I'll tell you, the ratio size isn't as drastic as what you think. You know what I mean? It isn't the margin isn't as big as you think, where now you're like, man, this guy must be getting hundreds and thousands of sales daily because of his, you know, blue check, or because of her blue check, or because of what they're doing, who they're associated. No, at the end of the day, when you're dealing with big ticket items like this, you have to be able to meet with the people. You have to be able to speak to the people. You have to be able to talk, build relationships with the people, right? At the end of the day, it comes down to that. So if you're still not making time for that, don't expect people to just fall in your lap. Right? Don't expect people to just buy and say, hey, I'm ready to buy your program. You know, I just love your page. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I don't care how big you are. So you still have to put in the work. You know, in life, you have to put in the work. You still have to put in the work. That's why I have a team. We put in the work. I put in the work. I connect with my people daily. I'll tell you right now, 90 to 95% of the responses back that you get through DMs is me. You know, of course, as I get bigger, I have my team helping me with stuff, but 95% of the responses on my DMs are me, especially everything voice note, which I love using voice notes because I like to connect with a person intimately. So for me, I like to be as organic as I can, you know, and for me, that's important. And of course, there'll be a certain point I might tell them, hey, my team member is going to take over for you so they can finish booking our call, they can finish processing it through, they can finish the next step process for you. Great speaking to you. Boom. Right. So it's knowing also when to use your team in certain scenarios. But I'll tell you right now that, you know, it doesn't matter how big you are, just don't expect things are going to fall in your lap. You just have to go get what you want.
So,
A good
so for you,
combination of authenticity and efficiency. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah.
so for you, Anthony, what have been some winning strategies on creating those connections for other heroes on their journey, whether that be a coach looking to get new clients, or a healer, or an author, or a podcaster? What are ways that you've created those connections? What are some winning strategies that you've used that you've found success with?
Yeah. So if we're talking about social media specifically, I'll say, you know, just some of the best ways to create connections initially is just creating impactful content. Number one, make sure that you're putting content out there that aligns with your morals, your values, that highlights your lifestyle, that shows people what your beliefs are, that, you know, incorporates your day-to-days, you know, the way you manage yourself, that also talks about your authority, your credibility, your association with other people. And that also is highlighting a niche to the people you want to serve. You know, I think that's the other thing too, is that you want to also portray who you're here to serve. I think one of the biggest things when it comes to the coaching industry, a lot of coaches tend to try to serve everybody, right? We're not here to serve everybody. One of the biggest things I teach my clients is if you try serving everybody, you don't serve anybody. So you have to focus on those people who you're going to be a superhero for. So speak out with your content to those people you want to speak out to, so you can kick out the tire kickers you're not here to serve, right? And that's how you can eliminate the people that you don't want to bring into your space, and you can hyper focus the people you want to bring into your space. And then that's when people do reach out to you, the conversation is just much more organic and easier because your content is more impactful and it speaks to that person directly, that it just makes it much smoother, and people are a little bit more open to reaching out to you. They're not as scared or not as hesitant because you are speaking what they need and what they want to hear, and they connect with you on that personal level. So, you know, I'll tell you right now, it starts with your content. It starts with your content. You know, that's one of the things I teach my coaches is the 8 most impactful pieces of content. And when you can rotate that on a consistent basis, you can draw in the right people. You can create the right calls to action to get people to do something, right? Comment down below and do this, download my this, click the link in my bio, you know, take action now by DMing me the word this, and I'll personally reach out to you and connect with you. It'll be me, right? So understanding when to place things in your content too also shows leadership. And remember, most of these people, if they're looking for help, they need to be led. And if you also show them you're a leader, you're also guiding these people. And remember, a lot of people want to be led, right, by the right person, right? So when you do that correctly, it's going to help you connect with people. Here's another great way to connect with people: getting feedback from your audience. Another great way to connect with people, especially if you're a coach who's building a brand new program, or you're looking to create another program or a service or a product or whatever it is ask your audience, right? You might be already in your niche. You already might know who you're working with or who you're speaking to, but get exact details from your audience. What do you guys want? Hey guys, I'm creating a new program. What would you like to see in it? Do you want something that's just fitness nutrition? Do you want fitness mindset nutrition? Do you want nutrition by itself? Do you want fitness what do you want? Do you want tailored programs, generic programs? What do you guys want? What would you like to see? What do you guys need from me? Let the audience tells you. It's still in your realm, but you're just getting specific to figure out what your audience wants. Because here's the thing: you can create a product, you put it out there, but it's not what your audience wants, right? But if you ask these questions, how can I improve, right? Maybe even a current program you have. Hey guys, how can I improve my program? What would you guys like to see in my next program? What would you like to see me add in this program that I don't have now, right? Ask your audience these questions through stories, through posts, through Facebook groups. Ask your audience. Your audience will tell you. Your audience will tell you what you need or what you want, what they want from the next program or whatever product is that you're going to launch. And like that, you can also start creating more of a higher connection. Because guess what? The topic is already around fitness and health because of what you're telling them. Hey, what do you want for my next program or my next product or my next service? So when you connect with them, you could be like, hey, Rachel, I really appreciate the feedback. I'm so glad to, appreciate the support. And thank you for, giving me the feedback on wanting this specific thing that I'm not offering. If you don't mind me asking, is this, do you feel that this is going to serve you much higher than what I have now? Why is that? Why is it not? So now you're already in conversation with her, right? Or him.
Yeah.
So the walls are down. So now they're going to be like, people love giving opinions, right? So now you're talking, you're in there, you already got them hooked, and they're like, man, this big individual, this person's giving me their time of the day and they want my feedback. Cool. But what you're also doing is you're getting proper feedback to enhance your product. And also too, you're building connection, you're nurturing a relationship, and now they show that you care. And guess what? That person is going to probably buy from you when you come out with that program or that service or that product because of what you did there. So these are easy ways to connect with people without making them feel like, oh, they're trying to sell me something.
Mm-hmm. Another way that you've created organic connection is through your Sweat It Out podcast, where you've already recorded over 175 episodes with Josh Evans. So let's talk about that. What have you learned from that experience, the Sweat It Out podcast? And yeah, let's start there.
Yeah, totally, man. So I'll tell you, podcasting is great, right? It's not for everybody, but it's great, and I'll tell you right now, it's one of the best ways to organically meet people, and to network with people and to be able to get your message across and to build a certain level of credibility. I love podcasting. I'll tell you, I've learned so much from podcasting for myself. I feel like I'm in a workshop or an educational forum every single day when I get in front of these high performers. And I get so many golden nuggets from it. And then like that, I can always take that back to my team, to my audience, to my clients. And when it comes to podcasting, it's just another pillar. It's another pillar to be able to connect with people, right? You get feedback, you get reviews, you get people's opinions, you get more topics that they want to be hear about. And then it's another way for you to plug in what you're doing, right? It's another way you can plug in your podcast. Hey guys, by the way, if you're looking to enhance your business and you're looking for this, check out this link or click this or go hit DM us right here or go text this number, right? So it's another way that you can also promote your stuff organically, by giving value first and then a call to action at the end. You're giving value first with a call to action, right? Most people, when they receive something, a lot of people's tendencies, they want to give something back, right? It's like when somebody gifts you somebody, you're like, oh my God, I got to get them a gift back, right? Oh, they got me a beautiful gift. I got to get them something too. Whether I got to get them something, right? It's the same thing. So you're giving people value. You create a call to action. Most people want to give you something back, whether it's their time that they want to talk to you, whether it's like, hey, I want to buy one of their services, or whether it's like, hey, I'm interested in knowing more about their services. People love to, when they receive, they like to always give back. So podcast is another great way to provide that value. And then also when you create association, another powerful piece of content is association content. I call it celebrity or influential association content. And what that is content that associates you with somebody who has a high status or high performer or big name. And what that does for you is that helps you present yourself in front of your audience as somebody who's at a higher position in the sense of performance wise and what you do and your credibility and your authority. So now people respect you for what you do because they're like, man, if that person is associated with this person, that person has to be of high level stature because, I know that other individual is not just going to meet with random people, right? So what podcast does too, it helps you connect yourself with higher individuals and associate yourself with higher individuals, meaning in front of those individuals' eyes, your audiences and your clients, you're going to be viewed with a higher level of perception, which can help you with your business, with sales. It can help you with connections, with future networking. It can help you with breaking objection barriers because now they know that you're the truth. They know that you're not a fraud or you're trying to scam them because they know those people are not frauds and scammers. So they obviously know if they're associated with you, then you're not a scammer. So it helps just eliminate so many other barriers in front of people's mindsets before making a buying purchase or working with you or just even connecting with you in the first place.
Mm-hmm. So you've interviewed so many great guests, and you mentioned golden nuggets. So what have been some of the key golden nuggets you've learned from hosting that Sweat It Out podcast?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll say one of the things I've learned from all the high performers from each and every one, something that they have similar, and everybody has their own way of saying it. And I know we kind of talked to this, me and Derek talked about a little bit about this last time, but it's basically their pillars, right? And most of their pillars, they're almost all identical. And it comes to health, self-care, their family, friends, and their business. And it's usually around giving the energy and time into those different things, and also to religion or spirituality. If that's something important for you too, they'll throw that in there as well. So what I've learned is that all of them have those components. Some will say them differently, some treat them differently, but they all have those 4 or 5 components, every single one. And I said, you know what, if all these high performers have these 4 or 5 components, then that means that I know that I need to have all these 4 or 5 components in my life to be a high performer, right? So it's like I was telling Derek last time, is that for me, my pillars are health number 1, self-care number 2, friends and family number 3, and number 4, business, in that order. And the reason why I say in that order is because here's the thing. If you're not the best version of you, you can't be the best version for your audience and your clients and everybody else you love. So you have to take care of your health physically, mentally, and spiritually, right? And also as well with your nutrition, recovery, so on and so forth. So your health should always be number 1. Give yourself the selfishness of giving yourself health number 1. Number 2 is your self-care, which I call it dating yourself. You need to date yourself. Take yourself out on a date. Do the hobbies that you like to do. Set time for yourself to go walk at the beach on your own. Go kayak, go play basketball, whatever it is that you do it something for you. Literally take yourself out for dinner. Like go on a dinner date for yourself. Like I've done that many times. Like give yourself that self-love and also give yourself time to be okay with, you know what, I need this. This is where more ideas, this is where more life comes out from, by me giving myself this self-care and self-love, that when you do that, now you have your health and self-care. Now you can pour into your family and friends. So now your family and friends are getting you at your best. And now you're fulfilling that other level of success, which if your friends and family are a level of success for you, now you can spend intentional time with them and you can love them at the highest level because you're at your highest self, right? And then now you're fulfilling that need of when you're in your business, you don't have to worry about, oh my God, I haven't spent time with my family, my friends, I haven't taken care of my health, I haven't had self-care. Now your business gets jeopardized because you have all these worries on your head that have nothing to do with your business because you haven't taken care of yourself. So if you take care of your health, you take care of your self-care, you spend time with your friends and family, you're intentional with all 3, right? And when I mean intentional, when you put it in your calendar, you treat it as that. You treat it as your business. You treat it as a client. When I'm literally working out, I'm not doing anything else but working out. I'm not paying attention to a client. I'm not paying attention to this. That's my time. That's my workout time. If I'm going out, taking myself out for a hobby, I'm doing exactly that. And I'm being intentional with it. Same thing with my business. If I'm with a client, I'm with a client. I'm here on this podcast with you guys. I'm not worried about my phone. I'm not worried about this. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about putting energy and giving you guys the best value I can possible, because this is what I'm being intentional for at this time that I blocked, right? So understand that when you're intentional, and you can follow these different levels of successes of first taking care of you, and you can fulfill those wants and needs of that level of success in your life, your business is going to thrive to the max. And that's something I learned from all these high performers, is that that's why they're thriving. Most people work in reverse. They work business first, everything after, right? But if you work everything else first and business last, you're going to see your business is going to flourish to the max, because now you're not worried anymore. You're fulfilling those wants and needs and those other successes you want, that your business, you can focus on it, right? And you have no worries, and your mental state is in a whole nother level. So to me, that's something powerful that I live by every single day. And I'm just I do my best to be intentional with it. And I do my best to honor that, because if I can honor that and honor myself, I know I can be the best version for other people every single day.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good reminder.
So
Thank you.
team is so important to you. You've had to really focus on team. Creating your podcast with Josh, team is so crucial to your Fit Pro agency. What are some golden nuggets you learned from your guests and from your personal experience about working as a team and being a good team player?
Yeah, so I'd say one of the biggest things with your team is kind of going back. I'll bring it back to the pillars, is being intentional and giving time to your team to actually realize what are the goals they want to achieve, right? What makes them happy? What do they want in life, right? Not just the business or the work they're doing, but what are the things you want to achieve, right? Because here's the thing: if you can help your team members achieve the other goals that they want to achieve, they're going to be at their best self-love, self-state, best version of themselves, meaning that when they go to your work or when they're going to go do what they need to do under your business, they're going to give you their best because they're being fulfilled in these other areas. So I teach my team the pillars of high performance, and I teach them how to be able to live as a high performer, right? And just because you're not an entrepreneur and you're helping other entrepreneurs, right? You might be an entrepreneur. You might just be somebody who I'm very skillful at this thing and I don't want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to have to worry about running a business. It does not mean that you cannot take on high performing skill sets to make you a better individual. So for me, I want to take what I know makes me the best high performer, what I've learned from other people. I'm not even reinventing the wheel. I'm taking what other high performers doing, implementing it into my own life. And if I can implement that into my team and teach them how to do that and hold them accountable for that, they're going to be the best versions of themselves, and they're accomplishing the things that they want. And when they see that I'm helping them with something that doesn't even have to do with the business, they're going to be like, holy crap, this guy gives a fuck about me. This guy cares about me. Like, we haven't even talked business. Like I tell people all the time, like when I've seen, my own coaches, I'll be like, hey, what's going on? I know you told me this week has been a little off. You said your sales went down. The first thing I'll tell them, how are you doing with your pillars? I don't even talk about sales tactics. I don't even talk about sales skills. How are you doing with your self pillars? And the first thing I'll tell them, how was your health this week? Did you work out? Did you do this? Even as coaches. And did you take yourself out? Did you do your hobby? Did you see your friend? And a lot of them tell you like, damn, you know what? In the last 2 weeks, my workouts have slipped a little bit, and I was supposed to see my family and I kind of pushed that off to the side, and that's been daunting me for a while. And I go, that's the problem. That's why you haven't hit your sales. So maybe so what I'll do is let's fix that. So we fix that. The next week, their sales goes up. I'll be like, you see, it wasn't a sales problem. The problem is that you weren't fulfilling the actual needs that you wanted to fulfill, which was working out and seeing your family, which was a priority for you. And that's something that's most important for you. Now we fix your sales, right? So it's figuring it out. You have to dissect. Maybe it could be a sales skill issue. Maybe you come in here and you tell me, you know what, Anthony, I'm fulfilling my health needs. I'm fulfilling my self-care needs. I'm fulfilling my family needs, but I'm having problem with the sales. Okay, let's see what's going on. And maybe that's a skill set that we need to learn, or maybe there's something we need to change here. Okay, now we're going to get more specific on that. But I always go to the pillars first. When everybody comes with an issue, how are your pillars? Are you following the way that you were when you were at your highest? Has it stayed the same, or has something slipped? Right? Because the moment one of those legs from that table break, there's instability, right? Because I look at my 4 pillars as 4 legs on the table, right? You take one leg off, that table might still be standing, but if I touch that table, the table's gonna fall down. You take 2 legs off, the table's like this. You take 1 leg off, it's like this. And some have no legs, and you're just flat. So when you see it like that, you want to be able to build a strong table, right? And if you have a strong table with your 4 pillars, everything else is going to produce. Everything else can produce. The rest is easy. The rest is just, okay, let's figure out what's going on with the skill sets. Maybe we have to just tweak maybe your framework or the way you're approaching your leads, or maybe what's going on in your conversation. We got to build a little more trust. Maybe you have to build more rapport. That's easy, right? The most important part first is, are you taking care of your pillars in your life first?
So what are the commonalities you've seen amongst the coaches you work with as to why they're not taking care of the pillars? What is coming up there for them, and how do we overcome that resistance?
And I'll say it easily, even in myself, when I first started my online businesses back in the day, it was more about like, I got to build this up. I got to make the money, focus on the business. And then you lose hindsight of your own self-care, of like the hobbies, the working out, and some of that starts slipping. And look, and I'm not telling you, like in everything in life, there's going to take sacrifice, right? There's going to always be a little bit give and get, right? When you're starting something. And I get that, you have to do certain things that are going to be able to take that other thing to the next level, right? But it doesn't mean you have to jeopardize the things that got you operating, got you excited, and got you motivated, give you life every single day. It doesn't mean you have to stop that. Does it mean you might have to sacrifice certain little things, and maybe you have to like decrease certain little, like maybe maybe you were going out a lot too often. Maybe you have to decrease certain things to focus on this one thing you want to achieve 100%. But things like working out, your time for yourself, with your family and friends, right? Those things are important for you, then you need to do them, because if they help you put life into you and they help you become the best version of you shouldn't stop doing that, right? So you have to just be honest and analyze what's most important for me, and what are then the things that I need to stop doing, right? That won't help me for this business, right? And then that goes into your building your calendar. When you build your schedule, What's most important? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to automate? And what can I hand off? Right. And then that's when you can start being honest and building an effective schedule, when then in turn is going to give you the success you need. So when you can see it from that picture, and you can realize that, even as a coach, yes, as much as we're pushing this initial new business and you have to give it more energy and more time ever, and we might have to sacrifice on things. I don't want you sacrificing the things that are going to give you the energy and the happiness to actually pursue this venture at full throttle, right? It might just have to look at it and be like, hey, let's be real. From all the things you're doing now, what are the things that you don't need to be doing? What are some of the things that are wasting your time in your calendar? I want to start with those things, right? I want to start with the things, okay, what doesn't serve you, right? Obviously 100, you working out, that serves you. Okay, we got to keep working out every day. All right, you spending this much, you told me your family is important to you. You said your friends and family is important to you. Then we know you need to see your friends and families. At least you have to give them once a week of your attention, where you meet your family, you meet your friends for an hour or two, whatever it is on the weekend, however we want to schedule it, right? So we don't want to lose that, right? But maybe you're telling me that you're eating crap and you're hanging out with your friends every single day, 2-3 hours. Well, maybe that doesn't serve you if you're trying to build a business. You know what I mean? So it's being real. Maybe, you know what? I just know I need to see my friends at least, or my family, a few hours during the weekend, and I'll be happy with that. Okay, cool. That fulfills you. Cool. Now we know we have to reduce his, but we got to keep this still. We got to still see them on the weekend because that fulfills you. So you have to be able to just see and vet out what's working for you, what's not working for you, what do you need, what don't you need, and then we can build the optimal schedule, and then we can roll full throttle, and then everything else, the work stuff just plugs in between everything else. So I always plug in what's most important for me in that order for my pillars, and then I plug the rest of work and everything else in there, and then I'm intentional with it. And then there's no less stress, less anxiety, more focus. And guess what? When you finish that day and you wrap up, you don't have to make shit up. You don't have to worry about like, oh my God, I have to go meet this person out because I didn't meet him the other day, or I have to go take this client out because, oh my God, I rescheduled them because I was supposed to do. No, there's none of, you were intentional with that one thing you were doing. So you don't have to worry about finishing everything after work. Now you could just focus on going home to your family, or spending time with your kids, or doing whatever it is you need to do once work is done at home, and boom, there you go.
What I
Another
hear
thing
in
that,
this,
go ahead,
I'm so
Bianca.
sorry. What I hear in this is the difference between delayed gratification and our desire for instant gratification. So a lot of people, when we make choices, sometimes we're just so caught up in what we want in the moment. And what people, high performing people, seem to have in common is that focus on delayed gratification, being able to make choices that are going to really benefit you in the long run. And you talked a little bit about blockages as well, and how sometimes we make choices that maybe satisfy us in the moment and later on they do not serve us. Would you be willing to share some of the blockages you overcame in the beginning and maybe are still dealing with now? Yeah.
Totally. Like, look, we're always gonna go through stuff, and I think at the beginning, like, blockages could be like, one of the things I used to do was I used to not respect my time, and I used to just prolong, client meetings, prolong other things. I used to just be like, oh, wide open schedule. Well, this is, I'll take this right now, and I guess I'll do this here. I had no routine set in place. I had no order to my schedule. Those were a lot of blockages that would come in my way, because then I had no structure to what I wanted to do. I would give my time freely to whoever it was. I'll be like, yeah, that's fine, that works. Like, I'll work around your time. No, that's not how I work. Those are things I used to do all the time. And I admit, like, even now in this last year, like, one of my biggest challenges has been co-parenting. Like, me and my ex split up back in January. So one of my biggest challenges is co-parenting, especially had a lot of things established. I have to now figure out a new routine, and I'll tell you right now, it's been a lot of moving parts, trying to figure out what works best for my daughter, for me, for this. And now that I've been able to have some time and I've been figuring things out, but we're not, once, just because you're a high performer doesn't mean that you're not going to get challenges and things thrown your way. The difference between a high performer and somebody who hasn't understood these high performing principles is the difference is they know how to be able to stop those blockages faster, and they know how to be able to flip the switch faster so it doesn't prolong the effect. right? But we're all human. We're all going to get affected. We're all going to have blockages, challenges, interferences. We're going to have moments. The only difference is understanding how to be able to be the best manager at managing those different things. And when you can become the best manager of managing the blockages, the challenges, the mindset issues, on the things thrown your way, and you're a master manager, that's when you can start having an optimal life. And to me, that's what I find most important. But yeah, like even, even now, like, I still deal with a lot of the co-parenting things still blocking me from having my exact schedule have I've wanted it, and I get it. That's part of my I have to go through this right now until I figure out what's the best way to be able to handle this, because there's certain things I cannot control on the opposite end with her mom. That's uncontrollable. Yeah. I'm okay. I have to understand that. You know what I mean? So I do the best I can, right? And I'm doing the best I can now. And obviously through time, trying to keep a healthy relationship with the mom, we can come to some kind of or figure something out that's more structured. And then we can have, okay, great. Now we have things aligned. So it's a constant working. You always have to work. High performers are always constantly working on themselves, finding solutions to problems, right? They're not scared to tackle problems. They're not scared to tackle challenges. And it's just keeping that in mind, right? When you think you have everything figured out, it's like spot on, boom, something else comes in. But you know what, as an entrepreneur, a high performer, you're willing to take that challenge on and figure it out, right? So I think it's at the end of the day, we can all agree that, that's why I said there's no such, yes, balance, inner balance, when you feel that inner balance peace, but there's really no such thing as balance. There's always going to be a little bit thing that's going to lean more than the other. You can kind of teeter-tot it right there, but one thing's always going to lean more than the other. And that's okay. That's okay. As long as you're always working on yourself and you're always trying to be better and become a better individual, a better performer, a better version of yourself, a better person for people, like that's what counts. People who you're a mover, that's what counts. You move your mind, you move your body, you move your soul, you move all those things. You're going to be, that's what a high performer, and that's somebody who I want to be around. Those are the people I want to be around with, because I know it's only going to get me moving even more.
Yeah. One thing that holds people back from attaining that is fear. What have you learned about fear, and what is your relationship with fear, Anthony?
Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, it's just something we all create in ourselves, right? And I'll tell you right now that anybody, fear derives from past experiences, traumas, things that we've learned as growing up, especially for us in our childhood, these self-doubts, these self-beliefs, being scared, right? These are all things that we've probably built up from our DNA in the past, and it's embedded now. And, it's always going to be there. That's the one tell I think people all the time, anybody that tells you I'm fearless, you're a liar. You're not fearless. Nobody's fearless. I'm not fearless. You're not fearless. You're not fearless. Everybody is scared of something. Everybody has fears, doubts. Everybody has those things, and they're always going to be there. But again, it goes back to what I was saying. Can you become the master manager at managing your problems, your mindset issues, your fears, your doubts, your belief systems? Can you incorporate the mindset principles needed to be able to counteract those mindset problems, right? When you can learn those mindset principles, when you can learn how to be able to create the right habits, we can learn how to be able to manage those issues that present themselves at certain moments in your life, certain times in your day, certain moments in the months, in the years, and you can become the master manager of your fear, of your mindset problems, your emotions. That's when you can become a master performer, right? But it doesn't mean that those things are going to disappear, right? It doesn't mean that they're going to go away forever. Remember, those things are embedded in us. It's part of us, right? It's always going to be there somewhere, somehow, because it came from our traumas. It came from our experiences. It came through our journey, but we can understand how to manage them correctly so we can live the higher optimal life. And that's what I'm telling you. You see the high performers up there, the big names, right? You start naming the Tony Robbins, the Elon Musks, all these guys. Those guys have bigger problems than we even think. The more money you make, the more bigger things you're doing, the more problems come with it. So those guys have even bigger problems, right? But here's the thing. They're master managers. They know how to manage their problems. They know how to manage their situations. They know how to handle them, and they know how to flip the switch much faster than somebody who hasn't taken the appropriate time to understand how to be able to do that. That's why you see them more composed. That's why you see them at a better state constantly, because they know how to be able to not let that affect me. The moment one of those thoughts come in their head, they already got tools, and they're using those tools, and they already know how to overcome it overcome those issues and crush it at the moment and say, yo, this doesn't serve me, right? I got to be able to overcome this. You know, here are the tools I'm going to use, and use those tools effectively. And that's how you're going to become a master manager. So it's understanding that, you know, fears, scaredness, self-doubt, all that stuff is going to be somewhat present in your life. And as you get bigger, here's the thing, guys, as you grow, you know, whether it's, you know, monetarily, spiritually, physically, whatever it is, you're going to encounter bigger challenges, right? Like I said, those people have bigger challenges, right? So I'll give you an example, monetarily, making 10,000 to 20,000, that's a big hurdle, right? So the moment you climb up that you're here 10,000 a month, you climb those stairs, you start making 20,000, poof, you hit a plateau, you hit that second floor, right? Let's think about stairs, the second floor, right? You're on the second floor. Guess what? You hit a plateau. Why? Because you're like, holy crap, I don't 20,000 a month. I used to never make that. Well, what the hell do I do now? Doubts, beliefs, fears, scariness, all that shit starts coming up. Guess what? What do you need? You need a stronger mindset. You need a stronger support system. You need better people around you so you can start climbing the stairs again. Now you hit another plateau. Oh, $30,000 a month. Holy crap. The same fears, the same doubts, the same belief systems. That shit's all coming back up because this is unknown. I've never experienced this in my life. Holy crap, I'm freaking out. Guess what? I need an even bigger, stronger mindset, a bigger support group. I need bigger principles set in place, bigger tools to help me get to the next stairs. And again, you're going to hit another plateau, but that's part of life. That's part of the process, you know, but it's always
beautiful.
Fears, the same doubts, but you got to understand it's becoming the best manager of those issues. That's what's going to help you play the game of life. And that's why I call it the game of life. How can you become the best athlete for the game of life? Because that's the game that we're playing every single day.
So much wisdom shared, Anthony. I really thank you for all this wisdom. Through all the highs and lows in this game of life, and this is my final question to you today, what is the greatest life lesson that you've learned on your path that you feel called to share with Bianca, myself, and the audience today?
Ooh, that's a great question. I'll give you two things. Number one, do something uncomfortable every single day that you know it's going to help you lead you to success. Don't be scared of the uncomfortable. Don't be scared of the unknown. No matter how big, small, medium, or large is, do something uncomfortable every day that you know you need to do, and that's going to serve you at the highest level. And then number two, this is another one that I like to share all the time. If the world doesn't stop for you, why are you going to stop for the world? Right? The world, guys, will never stop. So never stop for the world either. You have to keep moving, right? You have to keep moving. You look at people pass away all the time. People will mourn for a little bit, but guess what? People move on. That's part of life, right? You see, when you're having your issues, guess what? The world ain't stopping. The world ain't stopping for your issues, right? So why are you going to stop? Why are you going to stop for the entire world? You have to keep moving, right? Movement is medicine. Movement is what heals. Movement is what creates success. Movement is what drives life. Movement is what drives energy. Movement is what drives everything. Without movement, there's nothing. So you cannot stop moving in your life. You got to keep on moving. And the two biggest things, focus and energy. Two biggest things, all high performers. Another thing I learned from high performers, focus and energy. Where focus goes, energy flows, right? Where focus goes, energy flows. So focus on the things you want. Don't focus on the things you don't want, right? Focus on the things you want and focus on the things that you know you can get. Don't focus on the, oh man, but that's hard. Well, it's only hard because you're focusing on it, right? Focus, put your focus on where you want your focus to go and create your own energy, right? Create energy every single day. We are a self engine. We can create energy up and down as much as we want, right? And everybody will tell you, yes, of course, energy has I'll tell you right now, what do people tell you? Oh, where do you get energy from? They'll tell you food. They'll tell you here. Guys, energy comes from within you. You can create energy at every moment. And the reason why I'm saying food, for example, because think about it. When you're fasting, I think it's like 2 or 3 days after, doesn't like a sudden energy spike just come into your body? Right? So if you think about it, food isn't what really gives you true energy. It's yourself. You yourself create the energy. So you get when you're feeling down, get your ass up, start jumping, start screaming, start yelling, start inflicting life, start moving your body, start running, and freaking produce energy. And when you produce energy, you create life, you create focus, you create beautiful things coming your way, and it gives you clarity. And now you're on your mission to success. So I just want to leave it off with that, guys. Focus and energy.
Hell yeah.
Be uncomfortable and don't stop for the world. Just keep moving.
Hell yeah. So much wisdom, so much wisdom. Closing thoughts, Bianca.
No, that I feel like that was perfect. Those words, I'm just gonna let that ring in and let it ring for everybody.
They can connect
Thank
with you,
you.
Anthony, on Instagram at Mendez Fitness, and they can check out your podcast at sweatitout.podcast, also on Instagram. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. So great to chat with you, Anthony. To close every episode, we bring our fist in for digital fist bump. This is a choice. We could all be a winner. Boom.
There we go.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate the
And that's
love. Stay
that's
connected.
a wrap.
Thank you so much for your time.
No, of course. Always here to serve. I hope I was able to bring enough value for you guys today.
Absolutely.
So good.
Don't